Hello and welcome to a lesson about witchcraft. For transparency's sake, this is a paid lesson by a client who has asked me how to bring back themselves into their witchcraft because there's a lot of external influences now. Look, that are my notes that I wrote down for this, so she's prepared. It's an excellent question because I feel with TikTok and Instagram and this and that, everybody posts these spells and altars that look so beautiful and aesthetically pleasing, and then you're wondering, why doesn't your altar look like that? Why doesn't your spell look like that? It's not supposed to. First of all, that is artificial and heavily curated. A real spell will rarely ever look good to the eye. If you're managing these gorgeous artistic spells and they work, well, my hat's off to you. Yeah, how to bring back the craft in witchcraft. Here we go. First of all, you're not going to listen to anybody on social media because whether what they show off is real or curated, it's not yours. It's not for you. Because witchcraft, in my personal opinion, is the most personal, intimate thing we have in our lives, because it should be 100% a reflection of yourself. Who you are, where you come from. If you do ancestor work, that's also another extremely personal point. Whatever you do, it should be a reflection of who you are as a person, where you've been, where you're going, where you are now. So you're going to have to turn off these external influences like, oh yeah, good for them, that's a cool altar, but it's not your altar, so you just move on. You don't try to make it look exactly the same, because what is the point of having altars and spells and if you have a whole room dedicated to witchcraft? It shouldn't. No two altars, no two spells, no, nothing should look remotely alike, let alone identical. And I feel like that is a huge issue in today's witchcraft among many witches and pagans and what have you. Also, you're going to have to shut out your family, all these personal outside influences, your family, your friends, your whoever, who you have to be like, ooh, will they like it? That doesn't matter to you. If that is your only personal thing in your life, then nobody else has a say in it. Nobody else's opinion matters, nobody else's thoughts matter. Does that? Well, you do have to be a little bit considerate with incenses and all of that it doesn't affect the people that you live with. But other than that, it's personal, yours 100%. What else? You're going to also have to contemplate and meditate a lot, because you need to have these personal thoughts and feelings. Whomever you have influencing you, they need to get out of your head. Bye. So yes, I'm going to recommend meditation, contemplation, being alone with your thoughts. And if you're struggling to form an identity, surprisingly to some, perhaps, I'm going to suggest some mundane activities. Going to shops, browsing things, letting yourself be drawn to things. Letting yourself think, oh yeah, I like this, I don't like that, and just be, if you have to think on an item, why do I like this? Why don't I like this? What pleases me or displeases me about, let's say, a teacup, a candle holder, whatever. I found that browsing Etsy and eBay and whatever sites helped me form opinions about what I like or dislike, and then I had a discussion with myself. Oh yes, I like the shape of this, I don't like the color. You're just going to have to practice having fully formed personal opinions, which will help. Believe me, it will help you so much to have a mundane grasp on who you are, and then your craft will come so easily. You're going to have to be like, which colors do I like? Which aesthetic is for me? Do I like a Victorian aesthetic? Do I like a more romantic floral Victorian? Do I like a gothic Victorian? Do I like minimalism? Do I like brutalism? Do I like Baroque style? Do I like whatever? You're going to have to go on this journey and figure that out, and then you'll bring that to your craft, to your practice. And meditation helps so much. Just being alone with your thoughts, and if you have while you're meditating or just having a thought, think about how and why did you think that? Why did you think, I don't know, why did you suddenly remember a song or whatever? Do you like that song? You're just going to have to keep this ball of thoughts rolling and figuring yourself out, figuring out your reactions to things. The best thing you can do is let yourself have an honest reaction to the world around you. Oh, what a pretty tree, what a pretty flower. Oh, I don't like this building. Oh, look at that gorgeous lady, she has such a pretty outfit. Like, let yourself have these silly, mundane, pointless. They're not pointless. They're going to help you discover yourself. Let me see some other notes that I wrote in here. Just the lighting. I'm an idiot. Well, I can read it. This overhead light looks like dog shit in videos. Yeah. Hi. You're going to have to really separate what other people around you do and think and form your own thoughts. So, because the online witch trend really focuses on these micro trends. Oh, Moldavite, oh, blah, 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 whatever. What you will do is figure yourself out. You know, everybody does tarot. I do tarot too, but tarot is not for everybody. It's so fucking popular that it puts people off tarot. There are so many other divination methods. There are so many divination methods that we haven't explored because, it may not make for a fun, visually pleasing video. Who gives a fuck? Like, honestly. So, I was always a loner, which helped me. It sucks, but it also has some positives. It helped me figure out my witchcraft and myself very easily. I can, at this point in my life, I can immediately be like, oh, this isn't for me, but, I can pick out parts of something that will will work for me and what won't. All right, you are going to have to write your own spells. Whether it helps to write them down in a notebook, personally, what works for me is just being at the moment and saying words as they come to me, which may not work for everybody. That's the thing. If writing down spells works for you, do it. For me, it helps to blurt them out as they come in the moment. Oops. My mind froze for a moment. I'm sorry. Yeah. Write your own spells. Never use a pre-written spell from somebody else, because that won't work for you. It's not like bad. You're not going to jinx yourself or curse yourself. You're just not going to have a connection. You're not going to have the bond. That's somebody else's words, that's somebody else's practice. That's their spell. They put it on the internet. So what? No. Write your own spells. Always write your own spells. Whatever method of writing, do that always. Always. If you reusing your own spells, now that's different. It's your own spell and it worked before, so it's going to work again. That's not a problem. Now, figuring out what tools to use. Everybody's like wand, athame, whatever. You're going to have to stop and contemplate your tools. And sadly, we are swamped with witches telling us, oh, you need to buy from this shop, you need to buy this on Amazon. No, first of all, you're going to have to put your best effort in buying from artists, and not on Amazon, not on whatever. You're going to have to try and make... I'm going to first focus on buying stuff, because that's sadly relevant. Very relevant. And you're going to have to look for the tools that speak to you. You're going to feel excitement and joy. Joy. Joy when you look at your tools, whatever tool you have, wand, athame, you don't even, that's just what's most popular, and if those don't work for you, find other tools. Pick up a stick from outside that spoke to you. That's your whatever. I have a pick, it's not a toothpick, it's like a little fork, cheese fork, I think it's, I don't know. It's like a little metal fork for hors d'oeuvres or whatever. I use that in my craft. I use it to hold things to the flame to burn clothes and stuff. That's something I figured out myself. You're going to have to figure things out, what speaks to you and what doesn't. Walks in nature. I can never recommend walks in nature enough. You're going to look at the rocks, you're going to look at the plants, maybe you have some crystals near you, maybe you don't, but whatever. Pine cones. You're going to pick little things up that speak to you and put them on your altar. You're going to, and also for meditation, those walks are amazing. Just take a walk whenever you can, wherever nature is nearest to you, and just I like this rock. This rock doesn't look so good. Just let your thoughts be your own. Just empty your brain and be like, this rock has a pleasing shape. I shall put it in my pocket. it. And then, oh, this branch, I don't like this branch, I'm not going to take it. Oh, but this stick, oh, look at the lovely shape of this stick. Yeah, I'm going to take this home. And either just going to sit on your altar, maybe you'll use it as a wand, that's up to you. That's really 100% what you do. Maybe you'll paint it, maybe you'll do whatever with it, just have make a decision. Make a decision. Pick up a cool rock or a stick or whatever and decide what you're going to do with it. I honestly cannot recommend like meditative walks in nature. And there's always something on the ground. There's always something that you're going to be drawn to, or something's always going to call to you. Pick up a flower. Put it in a vase. Put it on your altar. That's completely a lovely offering for whomever you're working with. And also deities. Oh my. You don't even have to work with deities. And you don't have to pick the same 5 that everybody else works with. Read up on deities. Oh, this deity nobody has ever talked to. Maybe I'll petition them, see if they feel like working with me. You know, go a little beyond the beaten path, you know, because we have Persephone, Hecate, Aphrodite, like the same 5 or even 3 gods from each pantheon that everybody works with. That's boring. Like, you know, find your own deities. I don't work with the deities, and that's my personal choice that works for me best. You can work with deities or not. It doesn't matter to anybody but yourself. Also, I don't have too many witchcraft books. The ones that I have read, I was like, okay, so this will work for me, this won't work for me. You just, when reading a book or anything else, you need to be like, does this resonate with me? And if it does, you can try it out, and then, oh, experiment. Experiment all the time with things. And if it, you'll know after if the results are pleasing to you or not. Experiment with everything, unless it's a close practice. Then we just like, thank you, not for me. I won't tread on you. Yeah, experimentation is so important. You need to experiment like, oh, elemental magic, kitchen magic, divination. Just figure out things one by one. Which element you resonate with, which element you don't resonate with. What type of divination? Are you also, do you like candles? Can you use candles? Are candles a problem for your living space or whatever? That's the thing, figuring out these little things. I was talking about books, damn. I'll get back to books in a moment. It's just this long, I'm sorry, but it's going to be long and difficult to figure out what resonates with you, what calls to you, and what doesn't. And when something doesn't call to you, you'll be like, oh, well, tried it and it doesn't work. You're not going to force yourself to vibe with something. Okay, so it's a trending topic on whatever social media platform, but it doesn't work for you. And so what? It doesn't matter. It's not for you. A million other witches have this thing that works for them and it's so good and cool and oh my god, they had such success with it, and it doesn't resonate with you. Something else will. That's it. Now back to books. You're going to read books carefully, slowly if you have to, because, excuse me, just have to adjust this up. Yeah, should have done this in the beginning. Oh well. You're going to read books carefully and constantly think, do I like this? How do I feel about this? Can I apply this to my practice? And, you know, because these witchcraft books are full of somebody else's bias. That's their experience, their practice that they put down into words. And a lot of every book isn't going to be for you. And that's okay. It's not money wasted. Excuse me. It's not money wasted if you got something from the book. Like, you learned something, you picked up something. And again, you're not going to take everything 100% as they wrote it down. You're going to alter, unless it's like history, or if it's a strict path, then it's a strict tradition like Wicca or something, traditional Wicca, then you can, then you're not going to call yourself a traditional Wiccan. If you take elements of that and apply to your practice, you can be Wiccan. I'm taking this as an example, but if it's a set in stone tradition with its tenets, its core values, its rules, then that's the thing. If these strict rules bother you, then that practice is not for you. And there's nothing wrong with it being for you or not being for you. It's all fine. It's all personal. That's the thing. It's all personal. You decide what works and doesn't work for you. And let me think for a moment just what else is there. I cannot even stress enough about books because, again, I will repeat myself. Books are full of somebody else's bias. You're going to have to carefully read and think while reading. Oh, do I like this? Do I not like this? And then maybe question yourself, what about this do you like or don't like? Come to conclusions. Why, perhaps, let's say once, somebody's telling you, oh, you need a oak wand, and you're just like, well, I don't like oak. Why don't I like oak? Oh, maybe I don't like its energy. Maybe it feels too, I don't know, oppressive to you or whatever. And you can walk away like, I learned something about myself today. You just have to have these little conversations with yourself no matter what. In mundane life, in your practice, just have these little conversations with, not out loud. They don't like when we talk to ourselves. That, I mean, it does look weird, I'm sorry. They being people who don't practice. Nobody's out to get us. Just have these internal little quiet conversations with yourself. What plant speaks to you? What plant doesn't speak to you? And I'm going to have to go back to walks in nature. The biggest thing for me is using what grows around me. I buy very little. I have a lot of bay leaves, I have pine trees, whatever. So you're going to have these walks and you're going to connect directly to your ingredients. And that's so beautiful and personal. That flower that you picked and used in a spell, you picked that flower personally. It spoke to you and you use it in a spell, and of course you're going to pay attention to the results and how you feel before and after, and whatever, casting, before and after casting. It's such a different experience when you use ingredients that you harvested and collected yourself than when you buy everything and it's arrived at your door in these plastic bags and whatever. Like, it's not that it's bad or anything wrong with it. You should absolutely support witchy small businesses. If something that you don't have around you calls to you, like let's say you don't have rosemary anywhere around you, so you're going to go look up a small business that sells, I don't know, on Etsy or wherever, or some witchy shop near you, and support the small business. That's not a bad thing to do. Honestly, that's also good. Like buying from small businesses and artisan is always a good thing to do, as well as curating and harvesting things yourself. Because sometimes things don't grow near us and we like that thing. Like everywhere that you live has a limited amount of flora and fauna and crystals and rocks and whatever. So it's okay to buy a little bit. But you're still going to have this connection. You're still going to put this, I don't know, I said rosemary. Yeah, rosemary in a jar and look at it and smell it and form a bond with it and then use it in a spell like, hello, rosemary, how are you today? May I please have some for you to put in this candle and burn a bit and, I don't mean literally talk to you. Like, there is this thing that we do speak to our ingredients, but we don't have like conversation with them. We're not that mad. But like, just respectfully ask your ingredients what you want them to achieve for you. And you again have this connection, you build this connection, you build this bond, you know this ingredient, you know what it does. And oh, for the love of, you don't have to beat yourself up if you don't have everything memorized. It's okay to have notebooks, it's okay to have books, it's okay to have Google. Nobody can memorize everything. Honestly, as a professional tarot reader, I don't memorize the cards because it's 5 or 6 or 7 meanings per card, and then 5 or 6 or 7 meanings reversed, and then there's like 72, 78 cards. Like, oh, that's like homework. It's okay to have an imperfect human brain that does have its limits. It's fine. We're not robots. We're witches. Ooh, spooky. Yeah, but we're witches with squishy human brains, and that's part of the deal. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to remember everything. It's okay to have refreshers. It's okay to have like cheat sheets and notebooks and like, don't beat yourself up for having a flawed human brain. What else? Let me think for just a moment. I know this is probably not going to look good, me thinking like, oh, look at me, I'm Melania Trump. That was so bad, and I'm going to leave it in. No, but you need to have a connection with your craft, your practice. Every little thing. If you just have a tiny little pebble on your altar, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I picked up that pebble that day on this nice walk, or it was a horrible rainy day and this pebble, personal details, personal touches, remembering when you picked up that rock, how you were feeling. You're going to have this, like, when you see that, whatever you put on your altar, like, oh yeah, that day when that happened, oh, it reminds me of this and that. Yeah, that's the thing. I've actually I was going to lie on YouTube. My father found an old knife on a beach. and gave it to me. The handle is a dog. It looks so old. It's, I don't know, it could be hundreds of years old, who knows. And I felt so drawn to it. And a few years later, like I was, oh yeah, that's my athame. When I learn more about the craft. Or you don't, like everybody says athame, you can call it a ceremony. It's been a long day, I'm sorry. You can call it a ceremonial knife, you can call it a ceremonial dagger, you can find a word that's not from a close practice that speaks to you. Everybody says athame, you don't have to. You don't have to call it what everybody else calls it. Like, what word feels comfortable for you to say, that's the word you're going to use. That, personal touches. Like, I cannot stress enough personal. It all has to be personal to you. What doesn't feel good, you reject. Nothing wrong with that thing, it's just not for you. You don't have to apologize for anybody, you don't have to apologize to the online witchcraft community because something they all like doesn't feel right to you. Like, everybody does candle spells, candle magic, which is fine, they are effective, and I do use them, but I also tried other spells. I started doing like putting water in a vessel, water magic, and ingredients, and then the energy slowly emanates from the vessel. That's also cool. I've talked a lot, my mouth is tired, but that's fine. Thrifting, oh hell, thrifting and secondhand stuff. It's ethical, first of all. That's a huge thing about always we need to be trying to be ethical, because witchcraft is communing with nature, and humans are not doing a lot of communing with nature. That's that you if you know, you know. We are making huge mistakes every day. So thrifting, and you're going to look around and see what speaks to you. Oh, look at that old candle holder. Oh, I like it so much. Look at it's so pretty with its flowers and colors and whatever, and you're just going to take that home and you're going to use it. If it speaks to you, it speaks to you for a reason. Also, crystals. Everybody's like, oh, rose quartz and amethyst. What if you don't like rose quartz and amethyst? You don't have to like it. You can. There are other stones that you may. Again, you just have to allow yourself to like and dislike things. If something calls to you and speaks to you and you're drawn to it, there's a reason. Maybe it won't be part of your practice forever, but for a time it maybe will, and that's also perfectly valid. We as humans, we grow and change and form different opinions at different times, and that's also going to be reflecting on your practice. You're never going to stay the same. You're going to change, your practice is going to change. You're going to one day be using this rock and this and that, and then another day you're going to be using something completely different. And that's the thing. That's the thing about growth as a witch and a human. One day you'll be mad about Amazonite. The next you can't fucking... Oh. Well, I was trying not to swear, but the other day you're not going to be able to stand Amazonite. And that's completely fine. You can donate what you grew out of to other people, or you can keep it as a keepsake. You have choices, all the choices that you can possibly have are at your disposal. Like, if something has good memories for you, you don't have to donate. But if you just don't feel anything for like an old tarot deck, just give it to somebody that may like it. Pass it on to somebody else, and then it's their business what they do with it. there's donating to other witches your old things that you grew out of is something that we should be doing a lot more. You know, it's just sitting near our altars and it's collecting dust and we are never going to use it again. So, like, find somebody in real life or online who may like that thing and just, you know, hey, I don't like this anymore, you can have it. And then they'll have that journey with the same thing, and it's beautiful and magical to pass down your old things to newer witches or even experienced witches who just are finding that practice, that particular thing in their craft right now. Because we all do different things in different times in our practices. I've talked for such a long time. My mouth hurts. Yeah, just slowly figure out what you like. Listen to that little, oh, your intuition. Oh, you should always listen to your intuition. Your intuition is so rarely wrong. When you have that little voice like, oh, should I be doing that? You probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't. If something in your head is telling you that you shouldn't be doing that, that little voice that is your intuition, then stop and reevaluate. Why was I feeling like that? What was that voice telling me? Yeah, I think I've come to the end of this video. It's so long. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know. You can DM me and let me know if you have questions, if I didn't explain anything clearly, because this was a lot of yapping. Like, I need to go have a huge cup of tea after this. And I hope I made some good points. I hope I helped. I hope I explained and clarified things. I hope I set you on your way to bring back yourself to your practice. And oh, one last thing, you never have to join a coven. You never have to be in a coven. Solitary practitioners are valid. Covens are not the be all and end all. There's a lot of drama and toxicity in covens from what I hear. But also, if a coven seems like they're cool and accepting and willing to have you, try it out. If it doesn't, again, if the people in the coven don't, if it doesn't work out, you can always back away. And it's all that experimentation that I mentioned before, and letting things draw you or put you not put you back, like put you off. Let things pull you in or put you off naturally without, just let yourself feel your feelings and think your opinions, opine your opinions or whatever. When, one last thing. If you stop yourself, like if you're stopping yourself when you're trying to have a thought about something, stop that. Stop that. Like, let yourself finish that thought. Like, if you have somebody in your house that like hates the color blue and you're just drawn to something blue, let yourself have that opinion about that blue item that you say, oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, if it speaks to you, amazing. You don't have to buy it. You don't. You can just let yourself think that that blue item was so pretty. But don't let others influence your thoughts and as a result your practice. That's all. Peace out.